Fox 2 presents Hancock and Kelly.
Good Sunday morning to you. Welcome to Hancock and Kelly on Fox 2, where we take on the top issues of the week. On the right, John Hancock.
Top of the morning.
And on the left is Michael Kelly.
Good morning, St. Louis.
I'm Andy Banker. And on the agenda this morning, the St. Louis City Hall lawn is now a homeless camp. There seems to be little urgency to do anything about it. A woman could soon give birth in one of the tents. After Missouri lawmakers keep saying no, Missouri voters could give themselves the right to bet on sports. House Republicans launch an impeachment inquiry of President Biden. And two prominent Republicans, Governor Kristi Noem of South Dakota and Congresswoman Lauren Boebert of Colorado, run astray of the party's values. Also, suspected felons are due to be set free tomorrow as cash bail officially becomes against the law in Illinois. And in our quote of the week, a Democrat governor says she has the right to take away the right to bear arms. We begin with a growing number of homeless people now living in tents at St. Louis City Hall, including a man who says his wife is 7 months pregnant. Are you worried about her giving birth out here in front of City Hall?
I am.
He says his wife started camping at City Hall, along with him, to protest shelters that force men and women to stay in separate places even if they're married and or expecting a child. The city has no plan to relocate those living in tents. Instead, Aldermanic President Megan Green is pushing for a new law to allow homeless shelters in neighborhoods, even if the neighbors oppose it. And we're told there are currently hundreds of available beds at shelters in the city. And there are people sleeping on the City Hall steps and sidewalks at all hours, even with those beds. And used toiletries are now in plain sight among the bushes and flowers in the City Hall lawn. What's the answer here, John?
Well, people need to be put in shelters. And, a situation like this, you've got a pregnant woman. I guarantee you, even the shelters that have no male-female policies would make an exception here. And the only thing, they're sleeping underneath the mayor's office window. The only good news there is that the mayor's never in her office, so she's not actually witnessing what's going on down there. But it's a travesty, and this is no way to run a city. People, there are so many programs, there are so many places that folks can go and get a good night's sleep and get a square meal or two or three a day. And to not take advantage of it, I just don't get it. I think it's a mental health issue more than it is anything else.
Is the answer more homeless shelters in a city, in neighborhoods where people don't want them?
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I know what it's not. It's this permissive culture that we're creating. Whether it be that you're camping on front of somebody's house and the city won't remove you, you're camping at City Hall and the city won't remove you when there's options. People have this permissiveness that's going on inside the city of St. Louis. And what's crazy to me is in my neighborhood, there was an effort to rebuild an old building. And people they have all these processes in the city of St. Louis to keep you from being able to do that because it's got to be historically correct and this and that and this and that. These are people trying to invest in the city. Those aren't the folks that we're out there trying to work with. The people we're out trying to work with are folks like this that we're giving permission to just act a fool, and I don't get it.
We at one time had multiple locally owned banks downtown. We had world headquarters of multiple corporations in the city of St. Louis. And I guarantee you, if that economy existed today, none of this stuff would be going on because those business leaders wouldn't have allowed it.
Well, and I hate to talk about the optics, because these are people's lives, and they're just as important as our lives. But how does that look to have tents on City Hall? If you walk by there's people laying on the steps in the sun, maybe under the influence
And if there
of
wasn't
drugs.
this culture of permissiveness, these folks would go to a shelter or they'd have to find some other place to do it. They've become the star of the show because we're allowing this behavior to happen, and it's not helping St. Louis. Look at the ballpark today and see how many people are down there. Now, I know the team's fallen out of favor and it's not doing so well, but at the end of the day, that's not the only reason people aren't going downtown.
Well, starting tomorrow, cash bail is against the law in the state of Illinois. The state Supreme Court has set the effective date for the Pretrial Fairness or SAFE-T Act as September 18th, making Illinois the first state in America to eliminate cash bail. It's a justice reform measure pushed through by Illinois Democrats. Suspected felons for crimes like drug possession and burglary will be freed as they await trial. Prosecutors will have to show a judge that those accused of more serious violent crimes and sex offenses are a threat to the community or a flight risk to keep them locked up. If they are locked up, they will be jailed without bail. There simply won't be bail anymore. There are a lot of worried residents on the Illinois side of the river. I talked to residents in the town of Redbud, where they fear that a man accused of murdering his neighbor by setting him on fire is going to get out of jail tomorrow. Is this how the system is supposed to work? Is this reform, Michael?
Doesn't seem like it to me, and it seems like this is a movie we've already seen before. Here in the city of St. Louis, we've lived this situation where you essentially are just saying, hey, if you want to be a criminal, you can be a criminal, and maybe we'll hold you accountable if you do something like take off the legs of a young lady. It's just crazy what's going on. I hate to see it, but this is going to be a petri dish for us all to study on whether or not this type of progressive policy works. I personally don't think it will.
Isn't it innocent till proven guilty? Why should you be locked up if the case hasn't been proven?
Because that's how law enforcement works, to protect the community. It's supposed to be that. You know, we don't have a border wall along the Mississippi River. And so don't think this isn't going to affect us in St. Louis.
Right.
You start letting these criminals out. And, you know, we've already got a massive problem here. It's going to be exacerbated by these stupid left-wing policies.
A coalition of pro sports teams from Missouri, the St. Louis Cardinals, the Kansas City Chiefs, and just about everybody else, they're launching a campaign to put legalized sports betting on the 2024 ballot. The teams have lobbied lawmakers repeatedly in recent years, only to have sports gaming measures repeatedly fail to pass, getting bogged down in the legislative process. The teams will reportedly spend millions on a signature drive and an advertising campaign. The state of Missouri stands to gain tens of millions of dollars in tax revenue from legalized betting. Other states all around Missouri are already doing it. What are the odds, John Hancock, that voters pass this? How'd you like?
Well, I think if it makes it to the ballot, it will pass. I hope these teams have some people on board that know how to navigate one of these statewide ballot initiatives, not only to get the signatures in place, to get them legally placed on the ballot, but then to run an effective statewide campaign, because it's not easy and it's going to be costly.
What's your over-under on this passing?
Oh, I think it will pass if it gets to the voters. What's interesting to me is we just spent the first two segments talking about failed leftist policies. This is the failure of the right. Every state around us is enjoying this opportunity. Time has moved on. Gambling is going to be a part of our society. We in Missouri, we got to hold off. It's a shame that the Cardinals, the Blues, the Chiefs, and the Royals have to spend this type of money to fix the backward thought process of what's going on in Jefferson City, but it is what it is. They're going to waste several $1 million. And who's going to benefit from it? The taxpayers of Missouri will. Why aren't we supporting these sports teams?
I'll tell you who's going to oppose this is the casinos, because the bill in Jeff City required the casinos to be the lone place to house these things. This thing the teams are doing will allow the teams to set up shop. That's going to be a fascinating campaign.
Neither one of you guys bit on my sports betting cliches.
No.
I threw them out there
I'm for you. I'm for it.
Missouri's lame duck Republican governor is the big winner in the legislature's veto override session in the past week. The State House of Representatives voted to override 14 of his vetoes, only to have the Senate block them all. The governor vetoed more than $500 million in spending in July, including $13 million for a new police 911 dispatch center for the city of St. Louis, among other crime-fighting measures. What does it say, Michael, when every single override fails?
Well, look, there were some of them that I wish that the override would have worked on, but at the end of the day, there's adults inside the Missouri Senate. You know, the Missouri House has got this really right of center, wacky thought process. And look, Mike Parson doing his signature move, accomplishing nothing. That's essentially what happened here, and good for him. It was a successful session.
Is Missouri better off with these vetoes?
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't St. Louis be better with the new police center and 911?
What, are you going to build a 911 center and don't have anybody to staff it, right? I mean, here's the thing. This was the biggest budget in the history of the state by far, and I think the governor was responsible doing that. I don't know that it's a great win for him politically. He's got veto-proof majorities in both the House and the Senate.
And he's not running for re-election.
Right. But, I mean, he's not ever been overridden, and that is a feather in his cap.